up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match analysis from the match yesterday between Atletico Madrid and Barcelona in the semi-final of the Copa del Rey second leg, where of course Barcelona triumphed on the night and advanced to the final on the 26th of April, of course the final Saturday of this month in just a few weeks time. We're going to discuss, of course, the team performance, some players' individual performances as well, taking a look at that Copa del Rey final as well coming up, alongside, of course, 5 key things that we did learn from this match. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below and let's try and get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. And also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, the first thing that we learned from this match, and probably the key factor in us winning this match, is of course the defensive stability, how fantastic and how solid Barcelona were at the back for the duration of the 90 minutes. First, you can see here the starting lineup for Barcelona, the SofaScore ratings as well with it. Again, overall, you could say in the positive, Barcelona, I think the overall score was about a 7.23, which again, not too bad on the phase of play. A lot of players in the green and the orange ones. I think the Balde one's a bit harsh, but with him having a yellow, maybe it does make a little bit of sense. But again, overall, solid performance from the team. You can take a look here now at the average positioning of the players during this match. Left hand side is the starting 11, right hand side is with the substitutions being incorporated. Again, nothing really too crazy to see here. Again, Ferran playing just where Lua is, dropping a lot deep. Rafa playing as that left forward. Lamine not holding the width as much, playing a lot more inside in this game. You can see where Jules, how advanced he was during this game. Frenkie in the pivot, Fermin just playing in the 10, but again, probably should be maybe a bit more advanced. Right hand side with the subs coming in, you can just see how again the shift is not really that impactful. You can see where Araujo is how deep Barcelona were in that 25 minutes, half an hour that he did play in this game. Eric Garcia playing almost as more advanced than Frenkie was, so again, decent there. Gerard Martin, of course, coming in at left back. He was more up the pitch than he was down the pitch. And then, of course, Robert coming in, playing along the halfway line to, of course, control those long balls from Szczesny and help with build up and hold up play. But let's now take a look at the stats coming out from this match. First, we do have the possession in this game, which it goes down to Barcelona with 57% of the possession. 3 big chances created in this game as well. 15 shots in total, 7 corner kicks, 22 fouls, 501 passes, 12 tackles, 11 free kicks, and 3 yellow cards. You can also see there the big chances for Atleti with 3, which don't remember which ones those were, to be honest. 4 goalkeeper saves there from Musso. You can see the shot map there in the middle for Barcelona. 15 shots, 5 on target, 4 off target, 6 blocked, 10 inside the box with 5 being outside. Heat concentration for this game, again, a lot of possession for Barcelona, mainly in the middle of the park, but more so down the right hand side than it was down the left hand side. Of course, of the 3 big chances we created in this game, 1 was scored, 2 was missed. There was 1 through ball. In total, 26 touches in the penalty area, 2 fouls in the final third, and 1 offside. And of course, Atleti missed their 3 big chances, but to be honest, don't remember what those 3 big chances were. Maybe the Sorloth, I guess maybe the Sorloth shot was 1, and then the Sorloth offside, maybe it was 1 as well. But again, it wasn't really feeling that threatening in this game. Now, in terms of possession, where the ball was spent in this game, 44% was spent in the halfway line, 31% in the Atleti half, 25% in the Barca half, which I thought would be maybe a bit switch. I thought it was maybe 30% in the Barca half, 25 in the Atleti, especially what happened on the second half. But it just showed the control that Barcelona had in this game. Of the 501 passes we attempted, 421 were successful, 14 throw-ins, 51 final third entries, 77% successful with our passes in the final third, 55% successful on the long balls, and 80% on the crosses, which is quite low. 51% of our duels, 6 times dispossessed, 47% success rate in the ground duels, 63% in the air. That, of course, was huge, especially with Inigo and Araujo. 60% completion with the dribbles, and 80% of our tackles won as well. So again, a lot of those more so on the defensive side of the game, which shows the stability that Barcelona did show in this game. We saw a lot about, we of course highlighted the defense a lot in Xavi's first season and his first full season when we won the double, how strong and how elite the defense was in La Liga that season. And we're seeing that now again, but especially in controlled areas. When we want to play that way, we can play that way. Again, the title of this caption of this section is Elite Defense Wins You Game. That's always the big talking point around football. The title defense are built on defense, and we saw that in today's game. Not only were Kubarsi, Inigo, and Araujo sensational, but also like Balde, Kounde in the fullback area, De Jong and Pedri coming back to help defensively, Eric Garcia as well, Rafa coming in the end, having some, few headers cleared away and clearances, Lewandowski as well. Defenses are always stagnated and always work as a cohesion. So when you're defending as a team, defending as a unit, it makes it better. And we saw that in this game that Barcelona can adapt to situations. Yes, we can play high press, high giga pressing, free flowing attacking phase football, but also when the time is needed and when the right moment is needed, we also can go into defense as well. Another good example was that second half against Real Madrid in the Super Cup final, when Sejny got that red card, we sat back, we sucked up the pressure, and we defended very well. We've done that now in 2 big games when we had to this season, and that is a feat that cannot be ignored. One very quick stat I want to discuss that came out from this game as well, which I thought was super interesting, that Barcelona have only gotten 2 shots on their goal in the last 3 matches, and 2 of them went from Girona. Osasuna and Atleti did not finish the match with a shot on target. Of course, Sorloth scored. That was offside. That was ruled out. The shot that he missed was off target. It hit the side netting. So we've only had 2 shots on our goal in the past 3 games. Of course, of those 2, one of them did go in. Unfortunately, Dan Juma took away our clean sheet. But my God, is that defense been so sturdy since Szczesny has come in. Since Szczesny has become, a consistent factor, has become, the mainstay. It's just been unbelievable. I think 17 games, 10 clean sheet. We're still undefeated in 2025 and still undefeated with Szczesny in goal as well. The defensive unit now is becoming stronger and stronger, and also we are relying upon it a little bit more now than we were, of course, in the first half of the season, but it has been turning up and it has been proving prominent for Barcelona. Now, the second thing that we learned from this match is that Flick does learn from his mistakes. I would say there's probably 3 or 4 occasions this season where Flick has made big mistakes that end up costing Barcelona in the end, whether it be a loss or a draw. And most of those times he did rectify. There were, of course, 2 times in which he didn't. But in this game, he did, of course, rectify his previous mistakes. And he's also learning on the job as well. And also having that self-criticism where he knows he's made a mistake and now does make the, right move to rectify it. What I'm talking about here specifically is that double change that he brought on with Araujo and Eric Garcia. That, for me, in my opinion, is what sealed the win. Of course, I just talked about the defensive stability that came in when Araujo and Eric Garcia came in. Of course, I talked about the double change of Eric and Ferran, how that's kind of, had a huge impact on Barcelona over the past few months. But it just doesn't have to be those 2. It has to be the right personnel for what is needed. A lot of times, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be Eric and Ferran off the bench. But in this game, what was needed was Eric and Araujo, and Flick was not hesitant in doing that. For me personally, I think Gavi would have had a big impact in this game. Gavi did not play. I don't know if he's injured or has a knock. Nothing has come out since then. There were some videos of him, talking with Flick, pointing to his legs, and maybe he had a little bit of a niggle and Flick didn't want to risk it. I don't know. But I think he would have had a big impact in this game, but also the impact of Araujo and Eric. When Flick knew that, look, you gotta dog this out and defend for the last 20 minutes, half an hour to win this game, he knew what personnel to bring in, and both these 2 players had a huge impact. Not put a foot wrong aerially on the ground, defensive transition as well, clearances, they were absolutely all over it. And the fact that all the fans knew this as well, and everyone was tweeting it, I was tweeting it before it happened, and Flick knew that as well. Props where it's due to the manager. Of course, over the past few games against Atleti, he was very hesitant and very reluctant to make those changes that we didn't need. You can look at the Osasuna game at the beginning of the season where he made that full rotation as well. And once he receives that criticism, I think that's when he really intakes it the most and really implements those changes. And we saw that in the game last night. So shout out to Flick. That was a very bold move and very important move as well, which everyone and their mothers knew we had to make. But of course, it came out on the positive side. Now, the third thing that we learned from this match is not really something that we learned, but more so of a reminder of how elite and how high level Jules Kounde is as a defender. Of course, in this match, got 7.7 so score ratings. You remember his heat map, of course, playing more so on the right hand side of the pitch, right back, a little bit of right center back there. You can see with his heat map tucking in there on the right hand side. And then she played 90 minutes, had 2 clearances, 1 block shot, 2 interceptions, was not drilled pass at all in this game. Attended 5 ground duels and won 2 of them, attended 4 aerial duels and won 3 of them, lost position 8 times. He was fouled himself 4 times, and he was never fouled himself. He committed 4 fouls in this game, 75 touches, 89% pass accuracy, only misplacing 6 passes. He did 1 long ball and completed. He had 1 shot off target that was also blocked as well. And he also attempted 2 dribbles in this game and was successful in both of them. Kounde, for me, in my opinion, of course, now Kounde has become the 4th highest appearance Frenchman for Barcelona. I think only Dembele, Lenglet, and Eric Abidal are ahead of him right now. So he can definitely, become the most appeared French player for Barcelona for sure. Congrats to him for that. But this performance for me, for Kounde, in my opinion, was a reminder of what he can do. Of course, first half of the season, he was absolutely world class, and ever since he was late for Vallecano, he's been on a steep hill downwards where he's just been, box standard average in my opinion. And Kounde was my favorite Barcelona player. Of course, he's not anymore due to him being late 3 effing times this season, but he's still probably up there with one of my favorite players. He's probably the last signing that I was the most excited for, and this is why. He's an absolutely elite defender, especially in 1v1 scenarios as well. And I just want to highlight the fact of what he did in that last 20 minutes. The amount of blocks and interceptions he made down that right hand side from Javi Galan, from Riquelme, from Barrios, from Julian Alvarez was absolutely astounding. And I just think that if we can get a proper fullback this summer, whether it be Venderson or Ratiu, and then maybe we can have Kounde as an option in the middle, I think him and Kubarsi could make a disgusting partnership. Of course, Inigo ain't gonna last much longer, maybe one more season at the most. Arujo with his passing will never be, a strong guaranteed option unless we have, huge injury issues. But I just think Kounde just showed in this game what he can do and how he can and what his level is as well. He was absolutely monstrous in this game, and hopefully he continues on this path from now until the end of May. Now, the fourth thing that we learned from this match is the tenacity that Frenkie de Jong brings in that midfield and how pressure resistant he really is. In the match, got 7.4 SofaScore rating, see from CMAP, of course, covering basically the whole entire midfield. And look where that redness is in the midfield. That for me is more so the 8 and 10 areas, and that shows how much of his runs and impactful he is in transition and in counterattacks. In the match played 90 minutes, 83 touches, 88% pass accuracy, only misplacing 9 passes, 1 key pass, he attempted 8 long balls, completed 7 of them, did the 1 dribble and completed. He had the 5 ground duels and won 3 of them. He attempted 2 aerial duels and won both of them, lost possession 10 times, committed 1 foul, was not fouled himself, had 1 interception, 2 tackles, and was never dribbled past in this game as well. I think for me, Frenkie was again my man of the match in the match review yesterday, and the main dictating factor for me for that was all of his work off the ball, his movement, covering areas, blocking interceptions, winning second balls. Again, those aerial duels, I remember one of them was against Sorloth in the second half, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was him or was it Eric Garcia? Someone won a great header against Sorloth. But Frenkie for me is a player that we all know has the quality, and now he is showing it. Not only he's not really playing as a defensive 6, he's more so playing as a balanced 6, which really suits him. And again, we knew from the prime Ajax team, by the way, he's the only player left in that, Ajax 2019 team that actually plays at the highest level. Now everyone else is either cooked or washed or all, flopped. And he was the reason for that team's success, and he's now showing that in this game, because in that system, he's playing a very similar role than who he is right now. Of course, solid double pivot under Koeman, but he had more so responsibility in defensive transition. That's why we didn't really see too much of his flair in the attack. But Flick gives him that freedom to say that, look, you are the 6, you should be helping out defensively, but you also have the freedom to roam forward, to push forward when you see the opportunities, when you see it best. Those deep runs for the midfield, his ability to spray the ball so quickly in both directions, outside the foot, inside the foot. He is an absolute gem of a player, and we all knew that once he reaches full fitness that he would have this impact. I was saying that from October on my Twitter that he will be starting alongside Pedri in the pivot. He will push Casado out, and everyone thought I was a retard. Well, you can all hold that now, because again, it is clear to see the 6. This is why Casado was dropped, in my opinion. It was not because he was playing poorly, but in that 6, where again it's a more balanced 6, it's not really more so defensive 6, you rely a lot, as much as you do what you do forward, as much defensively. And Casado going forward wasn't the best defensively. He was absolutely elite, sensational, but De Jong's defensive part of his game is not too bad. I think the defensive part of his game is much more significant than Casado's advancement, because Casado's advancement is non-existent. He's very, very poor in finding those final phase passes, making those deep runs in the midfield. He's all right when we face bigger teams, where more importantly, he has to control the tempo and keep the ball moving from right to left, where Frenkie does so much more than that. And we can see why he did, of course, push out Casado. And he's just been absolutely elite, one of the best midfielders in the world. And on this form right now, he will end this season as probably the second best midfielder in the world after Pedri. And the fifth and final thing that we learned from this game is just the creative perspective of Lamine Yamal. Not only, the plus assists that he has this season. There's a reason for that and reason why he's lower on the goal side. He's just an absolute creative outlook. I think he's one of the best creative players in the world at this point. In the match, got an 8.0 so score rating. Steven Messi, of course, playing mainly as the right wing. Played 87 minutes, had 1 assist, 55 touches, 74% pass accuracy, but only really misplaced 9 passes. But his passing was very, very low. He had the very low amount of passes. 3 key passes, 2 big chances created, 1 shot off on target, 2 off, 1 block, then the 5 dribbles, completed 2, missed 1 big chance, then the 14 ground those won 7 of them, lost 13 times, was fouled himself 4 times and committed 2 fouls himself, also had 1 interception. But what I want to highlight here is, of course, the 3 key passes and the 2 big chances created. The creative outlook of Lamine Yamal is disgustingly scary. And this is why there's a lot of Kounde bringing up the debate of him being moved centrally in the future, playing as a false 9, as a 10. I don't really think as a striker, but people see that his creativity is not wasted on the right hand side, but can be more useful in the middle. I think we can maybe see that in the future, but his pace and his dribbling is so needed down the right hand side. And again, he's just performing at an absolute elite level. This man is top 3 players in the world without a shadow of a doubt, because without him in this game, you don't win this game. That is 100% a factual. You maybe go and win it on penalties, maybe you get a goal, but the win today for me comes down to Frenkie's impact and also Lamine on that right hand side. The creativity, the threat, the tenacity, the pounciveness as well when he gets those chances, and how the Atleti defense always steps back 1 or 2 points. Even Ronaldo as well. I think that's probably why Ronaldo was of course booked and subbed off at halftime. Of course, he got Alvarez on the yellow as well for pulling his shirt. He is just. This is why I think he's the most important player to Barcelona. I know Raphinha, a lot of you guys say Pedri, but for me, it is Yamal by a clear mile. And for this alone, he creates basically everything for Barcelona, especially with no Dani Olmo in the team. I think when Dani Olmo is in the team, takes a little bit of that creative load off him, and we can rely more on Lamine on dribbling and getting into the byline and getting in behind in the final third. But with no Olmo, and Fermin, of course, being creative, but he needs a bit more space to use that to his ability. It's always reliant on Lamine Yamal, and he always comes up and performs. Now, of course, with this win, Barcelona do advance to the final of the Copa del Rey, where our eternal rivals Real Madrid are waiting for us. The final will be taking place in 3 weeks' time. It'll actually be taking place before that big league game at the, hopefully, Camp Nou, but our home game, whether at Camp Nou or the Montjuic. And the last 2 Copa del Rey ties that were El Clasico, we both lost, of course, 2-1 in the 13-14 season when Bale ran past Barca, and then also in 2011 when Ronaldo scored in extra time with that header to take away from our second treble at the time, unfortunately. So hopefully we can get some revenge there, and the amount of Clasicos coming up is scary. We of course have the final at the end of this month. You have of course the Clasico in the league, and you of course have the Champions League final that is set. So playing Madrid 5 times this season. Of course, the max you can play them this season is probably what, if you had them in the semifinals, 6, 7, 8. So I think 8 times is the most you can play them. So we're getting them 6 times this season. Of course, we have the first 2 wins in the books. Here's the worrying part for me. I don't think we're going to win all of them. So the question is, which one would you rather lose? Which one do you think we will lose? Can we win all of them? Yes, but I don't know, man. I think we can win all of them, but there's just no, I'm just like, there's no way, right? Kind of, trying to jinx it a little bit, but huge games coming up ahead, and I really want to win this Copa. Of course, the last time in the Copa del Rey, they knocked us out under Xavi, and they won that final as well. Every time we've not won the Copa del Rey over the past, I would say 10 years, either because we lost to Madrid at some point or we lost to Athletic Club at this MMS. That's it. That's the only kind of our 2 bogey teams in the Copa del Rey. Athletic, we've had them a lot in the semifinals over the past few years. We've done well and beaten them on a few occasions. But it's always Madrid in the semifinal where we either scrape by and lose, or MMS at some point, which has done us a lot recently over the past few years. So be an interesting final, to say the least. And of course, this final taking place, I believe, 2 weeks before the league game in May as well. Just huge games coming up for Barcelona, and this will be a very interesting final. So that was a match analysis from the match yesterday between Atletico Madrid and Barcelona in the semi-final of the Copa del Rey second leg. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. Of course, coincide with the 5 key things that we learned from this game. Do you agree with those 5 things? Do you disagree? You want to bring up a point that I forgot to mention? Leave me all your thoughts down below. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca.